Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Baroud.
Goes it across and nobody can get a stick on it. One-timer. Schwartz scores! A bounce right to Jaden Schwartz. He has his 10th of the playoffs, and it is 2-0 Blues.
And they bury it into your net. And again, it's a crazy bounce. It hits something on the way to Jones. Jones is set for the shot, and it hits something, and it comes to the net a lot slower as the shot block happens. And so Jones only has one option, to try to steer the puck out of harm's way. And Schwartz cannot believe the wide open net he hits.
It is time for the Debate Hockey Podcast, episode number 65. Recorded on May 20th, 2019. I am the host of the show, Brad Baroud, joined alongside my co-host, Blake Friars. And Boston's in. Boston is into the Stanley Cup Finals, Blake. And now we're just waiting to see if St. Louis can continue this momentum. And they've kind of taken control of the Western Conference Finals. And we'll see if they can clinch a spot in the dance against Boston. And we're in summer mode. Are you in summer mode yet?
Yep, I'm gonna hopefully get up to the cabin next weekend, go golfing. It's nicer weather. It's a little bit chilly the last couple days, but
it's been cold and rainy. But I mean, but not bad.
Yeah, not bad. At least there's no snow.
No, finally we've gotten rid of the snow. But let's give our listeners a little bit of rundown on what's ahead for the show here over the next couple months as we head into the summer break period. Obviously, show tonight with the Western Conference Finals in heading to Game 6. Heading to Game 6.
Yeah.
And next week we'll have a show wrapping up the conference finals and previewing the Stanley Cup Finals. And then we will have two shows in June. One, a Stanley Cup recap show, and one will focus on the awards show and draft. Mm-hmm. And then in then we'll have one show in July. It'll be a free agency show. And then one in August. And then in September, the first week of September,
I'll be back and why not?
You will be back, and we will be back to our in-person and not doing our remote shows anymore. And we'll roll off with episodes like normal on a weekly basis starting in September. And look for some big improvements this year. We're going to be doing some more input from fans, some live shows possibly, and all kinds of fun stuff as we roll into Season 3 of the debate. It doesn't seem like it should already be Season 3, but we're just about there, Blake.
Yeah, no, it's just like watching your favorite TV show and you just binge watch all 2 seasons and gotta wait for Season 3 now.
I've had a couple listeners tell me they've actually binged listened to us, which is almost odd because I hope we're entertaining. I don't know if we're that damn entertaining, but
I don't know if I could binge listen to myself.
I know I couldn't binge listen to you, Blake. I'd go crazy listening to your silly garbage. This summer though, I think this summer is going to be a busy one. We got a big UFA class, a quality UFA class, and a quality RFA class, and heck, it could be the summer where we have offer sheets. And I'm expecting more active summer than normal. How about you?
No, it's gonna be interesting. You know, there's always that scare that there's gonna be an offer sheet, but they're
Why
never
is it a scare. Hey,
well, I mean, like,
I'd be excited.
No, but like for me, like obviously Besser can't get offer sheeted this summer, but
I heard Calgary's offer sheeting him.
If I'm a Leaf fan, I'm shitting bricks right now.
Well, you should be shitting bricks no matter what if you're a Leafs fan.
Okay, but they could potentially lose Marner for draft picks.
Yeah? I don't think that'll happen. No one's going to give up that many draft picks.
But look at Tampa. Like, how much is Braden Point going to get?
Well, they'll end up paying him, but they're going to lose some other guys along the way.
I would hope they would pay him.
But how much can both those teams afford? That's the problem here.
Well, like, that's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be some, like, it's going to be busier than usual because there's going to be a lot of big pieces moved so teams can sign these RFAs. They got to create cap somehow.
Yeah, it's going to be active. I think the draft is going to be as active with trades as it is draft picks.
Yeah, no,
That would make for an exciting Saturday night or Friday night, excuse me, and Saturday afternoon. But I always look forward to that. And I don't know. Are you going to be more active this summer, Blake?
more active, like working out, maybe.
Yeah. Are you going to get healthier?
That's the plan, I guess. I mean, all depends if I get surgery on my foot or not.
I tell you what, every year, and this year probably, God, more than ever, I've been looking like, man, I gotta be healthier. I gotta be more active. I gotta get off my ass and get doing stuff. But I'm freaking amazing at finding excuses to not.
Yeah, no, it's the fall is gonna be pretty busy for me. You know, with the Beavers hockey team, and got a little bit more of an advanced role there starting next year, doing a lot more on-hand stuff and more videos, and so it's gonna be.
So now
exciting.
you need to look good too, so you better start working out.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to fix that face though, but enough with the workout talk. Let's talk hockey again.
Gotta get a nice beard, maybe that would be good for me.
Don't do that. God. When is that phase and fad gonna go away?
I don't know.
I get so sick of looking at Thornton with that gross beard. Don't you?
It's playoffs though.
Well, I know, but he doesn't shave it off.
Well, but I would say like Brett Burns more than Joe Thornton. That guy's a wild man. He just lets it go.
He's a pretty nice guy though. He's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Today's show, we're going to talk Eastern Conference and wrap that series up and discuss that a little bit. And we'll roll into the West, the only series that's still going, and discuss some of the craziness we've seen in the Western Conference this year. Then we'll take a trip around the league and talk a little Patrick Waugh, little Ralph Kruger, who's number one, Lindell signs, and some Twitter stupidity I saw today. And I can't not talk about it because it was so stupid. I can't even believe it. CoolHockey.com is our sponsor for the show. Check out that website. Type in Inside 20 at the checkout. Save yourself 20% off a new jersey. Jersey of the week this week, Blake. I am going off the charts in this one. I'm stealing your idea last week. I'm going with a retro jersey, and I was just watching a TV show on it the other day, and I'm going to go with a Mark Messier New York Rangers in honor of the guarantee. I don't know. Hell, that was pretty.
Is that a shot at me because it's against the Canucks?
No, actually, it wasn't. It was pretty cool, though.
I think he planned that. I think Brad planned that.
Did I? It's hard. It's so easy to take jabs at the Canucks. I don't even know. If I'm going to take jabs at the Canucks, I could go a lot deeper than that.
Hey, just be careful. Be careful. The Flames haven't had very good playoff success in the last decade either.
No, I didn't say they did.
Hey, but so your jersey of the week's a Messier Rangers, huh?
Yeah. Who do you
is it the anniversary or something?
No, hell no. I just watched a show on it. Do you know that when he said that, this was interesting. I just watched a show on this. That's what made me think of it. And I thought, what?
Is it an E60?
No, it's a freaking show. I don't even remember where I saw it. I think I saw it on YouTube. I don't know, Blake. But document it next time I see something. So I got my story straight for you. But anyways, he was saying that he remembers saying that in the media, but he didn't. He goes, I didn't really mean for it to be like a guarantee. He goes, like, I didn't plan that. He goes, after I said it, I was just like, oh my God. Like, he goes, and then I saw it in the newspaper and I saw it on TV that night. And it's like, oh, this is getting way out of hand.
Yeah.
He goes, I didn't plan on it being such a big deal. He goes, I just was confident we were going to win. And that's just all I was saying. But it blew up in his face and it ended up working out just fine for him.
Yeah. So my jersey, I'm going to go with Robert Bertuzzo. Scored a big goal in game. I think it was game 4. He's been really solid for the Blues in the back end, and he's not a guy that jumps off the page. His only goal was his only point in these playoffs, but he does a lot more than that. He's not a goal scorer, but I mean, he's been solid on the back end. You can go with any Blues. I mean, like Alex Steen's been
how many
good.
Blues jerseys can you buy? That's why I didn't. That's why I went off the chart.
Oh, I know, but you like Shorts has been a beast for them.
Oh, So is Bennington, though.
Bennington
We're going to talk about that, though.
bounce back
There's been a lot of good guys.
Game 3. No, he's been really good.
All right, let's get this show on the road.
Schoolhockey.com. Jerseys online since 99.
Let's wrap this Eastern Conference up, Blake. I don't know about you, but I'm somewhat tired of this. I'm glad the series is over.
Yeah, no, just Boston it honestly just looked like Carolina was they were just physically drained. Like
They looked like they were mentally and physically drained.
Yeah, like when you see guys like Justin Williams losing his cool, taking like 3-4 penalties in a game, it's just like Marchand really got into his head, and he lost it, and the team just really didn't rebound after that.
Pretty much complete domination for Boston with a 4-0 series win. Wins in Game 1 of 5-2, Game 2 6-2, Game 3 2-1, and Game 4 the shutout for Tuukka Rask with a 4-0 win. And I don't even know what more to talk about in this one, but
well, it's just like you gotta tip your hat to Carolina. What a season for the Carolina Hurricanes.
They really exceeded expectations, didn't they?
Yeah. No, they were pegged in to be like on the bubble for the wild card, but most of them had it outside looking in, right? And
I don't think either one of us had them in, did we?
No, we didn't have them in. But what they did, from the start of the surge on, got the fans on board. The marketing did a tremendous job on thinking outside the box to, try to get fans to come to games, and that started leading to wins. And it'll be interesting to see what they do in the off season to look to build off of what a tremendous season this was, a run to the Eastern Conference Finals. But we'll see.
I like what Rod Brind'Amour brought to the table this year and what he did, and he definitely was a catalyst to get this whole, there's success of this team. He worked with, on paper doesn't have the most talented group sitting on the bench in front of him, but
neither was the 2006 team either. They won the Stanley Cup, so
he figured out a way, and my hat goes off to Rod Brind'Amour on what I thought was a great year behind the bench, and we'll see, because I think as much as he had success this year, it's going to take twice the effort to get that success and to relive this again for Carolina.
I got a question, though. Hold on. I got a question. Do you think Rod Brind'Amour should have been a candidate for Jack Adams?
This was an odd year where I probably could have had 6 guys that qualified for that.
Yeah.
I mean,
no disrespect to John Cooper, but
John Cooper should be up there for sure.
No, I know, but I'm saying there's a lot of
win it.
He deserves to win it, but there's a lot of people that can coach that good of a Tampa Bay team.
No, I know, but here's why I think he should win it. He took hear me out for 1 second. He took that team and he coached them to a unbelievable amount of points this year. Unbelievable.
But look at their team.
I know, but wait. This award always goes to a guy who takes a team that was shitty the year before and does something with them. Bill Peters should be in this. I mean,
Yep.
John Cooper should be in this. Rod Brind'Amour should be in this. I mean,
who's John Cooper? Who's the other two? Is it Trotz?
I don't even remember off the top of my head. I didn't know we were going to dive into the coaches so much, but
Cooper, Trotz, and I forget who the third one is. It might be Peter, or maybe.
No, it's not Peters. I know it's not Peters.
No, Peter DeBoer.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Why should he get it though? Why should Peter DeBoer? DeBoer's not in it.
No, but there is a lot of candidates that could win.
But I'm sick of this award going to a team that was going to a coach that had a shitty team, did good with them, and then they fall back. I think John Cooper hands down deserves it this year. I do.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
What he did with that team, I know he had good players and all, but boy, they didn't let their foot off the gas this year at all. That team was unstoppable in the regular season.
Come playoff time, though.
One more thing I want to talk about in this Eastern – we've talked about that enough. One more thing I want to talk about in this Eastern Conference. Now, the Bruins are going to have a huge layoff.
Yeah, 11-day layoff.
We don't start the Stanley Cup Finals till May 27th.
No,
That's still 7 more days.
I have a I have a tweet. I pulled you see the tweet from Chris Johnston.
I did not.
So he tweeted on May 17th that the finals are going to start May 27th in Boston. That means Boston will have 11 days before games leading into the final, the longest stretch in NHL's salary cap era. Edmonton in 2006 and Ottawa in 2007 had a previous high of 9 days, and they both lost in the cup final. So, I mean, rust over rest, I should say.
Say it again, Blake. Say it again.
But say that 10 times fast.
Here's another thing.
I don't know.
Look at this year. Every team that's had rest this year.
Yeah, they lost. Yep. And every team that came off of Game 7 won. It's interesting because, like, that's a battle-tested Boston team. You know, all those guys have won the Stanley Cup in 2011, were in the Cup in 2013, and lost in 6 to Chicago. You know, that's a team that's veteran savvy, right? You got guys like Chara, Bergeron, Krejci, Marchand. I mean, look at Marchand this year. You can say what you want about his antics, but they're 22-1 when he scores a goal in the playoffs. So, like, when Marchand goes, the Boston Bruins go, and that's how it's been for a long time in the playoffs.
So, do you think? So, you agree with me and say that the rest is not what you want?
I mean, for a guy like Chara, 100%, because he didn't even play game 4. So, I mean, that's
so much not a factor in this in my mind.
He's not a factor, but he's still your leader.
One of them. Bergeron's your leader.
I agree 100%. But Chara is still a big leader in that room, and when he's not on the ice and on the bench, that could affect the team.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know. I don't disagree.
But
you know what I'm saying, though.
No, the speed of the game is catching up to Chara, and it really showed in the past 2 series.
Let's flip on over to a little bit more exciting conference finals, and that's the Western Conference. And this one started off kind of in a ho-hum too, and we talked about it on our show last week, but definitely picking up speed, and it was a lot more enjoyable here in the last couple games in my mind. And I don't want to say it, but maybe we needed some controversy to get this series going.
No, don't even say the C word, man.
We're going to talk about it in a little bit here, but let's run down this series real quickly. And as it stands right now, St. Louis leads the series 3-2. Game 1, San Jose won handily 6-3. St. Louis bounced back and won 4-2 in Game 2. Game 3 went to the San Jose Sharks 5-4 in overtime. Game 4, St. Louis bounces back to a 2-1 victory. In Game 5, dominated. Well, I shouldn't even say dominated, because the first part of the game I thought was actually dominated by San Jose. Just hit a lot of posts. But Game 5, St. Louis wins 5-0. Game 6 is tomorrow night, Tuesday night. And Game 7 is set to go Thursday night.
There won't be a Game 7.
I agree.
There won't be a Game 7. Blues are going to take this in 6. They could have completely lost it after that controversy in Game 3. You know what they do? Instead, they pick themselves up, win the next 2 games. That's all you can do.
Do you know what I thought? I was watching.
You put yourself they could have went, screw the refs. The season's over. Blah blah blah. No, they said, all right, we'll just rebound after this, and let's win the next 3 games, and that's what they're going to do.
Let's talk a little bit about Game 5. And when I started to watch the first period, and I saw San Jose kind of controlling the play and ringing shots off the posts left and right. And I know St. Louis was hitting a few posts too, but San Jose.
Hey man, that's all the goalie gave him. All the goalie gave him.
But I was thinking to myself, hockey gods again.
Yep. How many breaks are the San Jose Sharks gonna get, man?
Well, it's been going.
Hey, maybe if the refs didn't help him out on 3 times in 3 different series, the hockey gods might have had that go posting in. I don't know.
That's kind of what I was saying. Jaden Schwartz records a hat trick in Game 5, and boy, was he just catching all the breaks and putting himself in the right position to score. And the guy knows how to bury it.
That guy is a stud. He played in the SJHL. He's from Saskatchewan.
You know what's funny about Jaden Schwartz? I had two people this last summer, tell me,
Mhm.
hey, Brad, you got to get Jaden Schwartz for your fantasy team. He's
Mhm.
golden every year. So I drafted him this year, and he sucked all the way past Christmas
He
time.
battled some injuries, though.
I know he did. I know. So I got mad and got rid of him. And I think I am the reason why St. Louis has went on this run, because as soon as I got rid of him,
God.
things started going the Blues way and going the way of Jaden Schwartz. And, sometimes the powers I think I have, I don't know.
I'll go with Bennington for the reason why they went on that big run. But
Big shutout for Bennington in Game 5.
We'll go with your story.
Big shutout for Bennington in Game 5, and I sure like the way this guy plays. I love when I see goalies with a little fire on their belly. And
Well, you don't see very many goalies with swagger anymore. Like
No, you don't.
Connor Hellebuyck has a little bit of swagger in him. Bennington is like I think there's going to be more goalies with swagger coming up because especially guys like Bennington.
Yeah, but Blake,
who got written off and he's 25 years old.
I know, but
took him a while to get up here.
Don't you think we're going to see a lot of players, period, with more swagger?
I hope so. I mean,
I don't know what I want. Hockey's has always kind of precluded themselves as being the gentleman sport and not the arrogant players and not the arrogant professional athletes. We let football and basketball cover that. Now we have more characters like PK Subban and
I like that. I wish NHL had more PK Subbans. The guy is passionate about the game. I mean, they're not. I don't agree with everything that he does on the ice, but I mean, when he scores a goal and he's celebrating, why not? Why can't players have swagger, whether it's on the ice or in the media? I don't know why there's a. I want. There's an unwritten rule on you can't have swagger anymore.
I want it. I want you to have swagger. I just don't want you to be an arrogant idiot.
Like Marchand.
Yeah. There's a line.
Yeah.
I don't think PK Subban crosses a line, even though I don't think PK is that good, number one. And number two, I think he thinks he's bigger than he is. I don't think I'm wrong there. Let's talk about how the Sharks reacted in the third period of Game 5. I thought that was a real critical aspect, and Carlson just looked awful.
Carlson's
play in the third.
Carlson's looked bad all playoffs. I'm gonna flat out say it. His groin is probably at about 60% because
you shouldn't play.
You go back to the 2016 playoffs. This guy was playing on one leg, and he was by far the most dominant player on the ice. And now it's just like, what happened? Like, this guy is scared to go in corners. He turned the puck over on the Blues' first goal. He put it right on the tape. I'm like, what is this guy doing? This guy looks – I thought this guy was one of the best D in the league. He's not playing like it at all.
No, and if he's hurt, he's hurt. I get that. But if you're hurt to the point you're making decisions like he's making on ice, then you need to sit. Because I can't help but think that I don't care who you are.
Is there a guy that's in the Sharks press box that's better than Erik Karlsson at 60%? I don't think so.
He sure as hell didn't help him in Game 5 and 4 in my mind either.
No, he's been pretty bad.
Pavelski takes a hit. We're going to talk a little bit more about this hit later on because I got a couple questions for you later in the show about this hit. But we'll see if he's injured or if it's a concussion or where we're at with Pavelski.
It's his second concussion in less than 2 weeks.
Well, we don't know that it's been confirmed yet. So.
Well, I mean, he didn't return to the game and he got hit right in the head, and you never like to see guys like it's the playoffs. I get it. Like you got hard hits and game's fast, but like kind of caught him up high a little bit. But I mean, it's whatever.
Okay, let's talk about this Game 3 hand pass debacle. And I pray to God this is the last controversy.
Great shot block, goes after the loose puck, bats it in front, here's Nyquist, dishes out, they score! Erik Karlsson has won the game for San Jose!
They are talking to the referees about a potential hand pass here. That's what Binnington's talking about. He's wondering if there was a hand pass here. I don't think this is reviewable. This will be the referee, similar to the puck over the glass. The rush, Meyer fires it. As he hits the puck there, the glove pass from Meyer to Nyquist is where the play should have been blown down. And then it went over to Karlsson. There's your glove. And there's your goal through the 5-hole.
Blues are slamming their sticks. Binnington cracked his stick on the boards, and now he's talking to Mark Joannette and Dan O'Rourke. The two referees, Johnny Murray and Matt McPherson, are the linesmen on a controversial finish to this Game 3.
I told you, man. I said.
Were we talking on the phone, or were we texting each other when this happened?
We were. I was watching the game.
Were we texting each other?
We were texting.
Okay.
And I go, St. Louis just scored, or Sharks just scored on a hand pass. I said, there's no way they can miss this. There's no way.
When I saw it live, here's my reaction. I thought that is the most cut and dried hand pass I've ever seen in my life, and I never even once considered that this could count.
I literally rewinded it.
I didn't even need to.
Because
I knew it was not a goal.
No, so did I. But I was like, I had to rewind it because I couldn't believe my eyes that they counted this goal. The ref is right behind the net.
How do
you miss that?
How do 4 guys miss that? And here's another thing. And I know someone's going to tweet me and say, "Well, it was a secondary assist." I don't give a shit. An assist on the play.
If you didn't see it, how can you give him an assist?
I agree.
How does the NHL have the balls to do that?
Well, it's not the NHL; it's the officials.
So how do the officials have the balls to say they didn't see it, but they're going to give him an assist?
Let's not rip the league, though, because I guarantee you every person sitting in the NHL offices just went, "You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Are we going to deal with this again?"
Well, not like
Bettman slammed his desk and was like, "This is atrocious. I cannot believe that this league is going to get another black eye. This is the 3rd black eye of the playoffs. The 3rd one. This is so bad, Blake. I don't know if you saw this, but this is so bad that FanDuel, did you hear this?
Yeah, they give all their bets back.
They gave their money back to people who betted.
Yep.
They said it was such a bad call. They didn't pay out. They didn't pay out, but they gave money back, so people didn't lose money on it, and that's hell of a move by FanDuel.
Yeah, no, that's a way to keep your customers happy for sure. Because, honestly, you were texting me like, "There's no way this is gonna count," and I'm like, "Dude, I think this is gonna count." Like they're skating off the ice, and I couldn't believe what was going on. And it just screams for that, there's got to be review. No?
Oh,
what if that was –
because –
what if that was a Game 7 in the Cup? What if that was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final and they missed a hand pass? Are you kidding me?
Well, here's the deal, though. And like I said it in the last 3 shows, I think. I'm against replay completely. Let the officials make more missed calls. But this was so atrocious that I've changed my mind. How do you not change your mind? I did not think it was physically possible for 4 of them to miss this. And you know what? I will also go to my grave believing that they actually saw it. But here's what I think happened. Here's my theory. I think they thought, let's call it a goal. We'll review it, and they'll say no goal, and things will be fine.
Oh, genius. The rule book.
I know, but I think they thought it could be reviewed, and the easy call was just to call it a goal. And then all of a sudden they got after it, and they're like, holy shit, we can't review this. Because you can't tell me that all four of those guys, where the hell were they looking at? Were they looking in the stands at a pretty girl? Four guys. It's the freaking play. It is the play, the only play. It is where the goddamn puck was. Like, how do you miss this? Four guys missed it.
And then I went on Twitter and they're like, "Oh, went off of Bertuzzo's shin pad. That doesn't nullify the hand pass."
It didn't go off his shin pad, too. If you watch from the other angle, everybody was looking for excuses. Excuses. It didn't. Even Erik Karlsson in his post-game interview was like, this. It was not right.
And then, I hate those interviews. They interview Pavelski, and then Pavelski's like, sometimes they make bad calls. Of course you're going to say that. You've had 3 go your way all playoffs.
What's he going to say, though? That's putting him in a tough spot. I mean, what do you say? I mean,
but
what do you say?
And then the media, how brilliant they are, asks what's the St. Louis coach again?
Berube.
Yeah, but they're asking, did you see a hand pass? I don't know. What'd you see?
But Blake, that's their job. That is a question all of us wanted. Everybody wanted Berube's reaction. So the media has to ask that question. I mean,
but they should know his reaction without even asking that.
But we still have to ask it because you never know. I've seen coaches look at Tortorella. If you didn't ask him questions, you would never get a freak out.
If you asked John Tortorella that question, he would have walked out of that interview. 100%.
Probably would have.
What do you think? There's a better way to ask that question. Be like, what was your thoughts on the overtime goal? Not, did you see a hand pass? No shit, he saw a hand pass. It's just I don't know. The whole debacle, the Sharks have eliminated 2 teams and have eliminated 8 refs from these playoffs. 8 refs. 8 refs have had their playoff jobs canceled because of blown calls with the San Jose Sharks.
So let's talk about this.
8 refs.
So what's
I've never seen it before.
What's the solution? Here's my problem is I think, you can say, well, let's train the refs better. Let's do this. There's a couple things I think that would make it better. Quit expecting the officials to put away and have a different rule book for the playoffs. That's number one. Mm-hmm. If you train them a certain way, and you let them act and call plays like they are from day one to the final day of the Stanley Cup Finals. The second thing is you need to work with officials on the structure of making these calls and making sure you're in the right positions to see these calls. Because they said, well, they were in the right position. Well, how did all 4 of them miss it then?
Yeah, no.
And you know what else is the biggest problem with the officiating? Is that officials always just pull the "I didn't see it" card. I didn't see it.
You know what I want? I want the NHL to make it so the refs have to have an interview with the media.
Yeah, that'll never happen. I wish so too, but
the media want to ask questions. Ask the people who blow the call.
Well, and then you go to the youth levels and they say, "Well, we can't find officials anyways." Well, I'm pretty sure now in the National Hockey League,
there's a reason.
If they had an opening for an NHL official, there'd be a lot of resumes. Promise. So that's not the problem in the National Hockey League. The problem in the National Hockey League is these guys just are getting. And I know the game's getting faster, but you know what I think it is? I think they're so damn worried about making the wrong call
that they don't call anything.
They don't call anything anymore. They're so scared to death, and they've been rammed with all this replay and all this other stuff that those guys are scared and they can't even think to make the proper calls anymore because they've been pushed so hard by this replay and everything else. I say you take replay, you throw it in the garbage.
No, well,
you send 4 guys out there and tell them to do their best.
That's
what you do.
They did their best, but they still missed the call. So the NHL should help them out.
But here's the deal, though. I honestly believe, in the 80s and the 70s, and even in the 90s, up until the whole thing, but that wasn't an official's problem. That was a bad rule.
Yeah.
We never had these. We never had them. We did not. Did you ever think about this? We did not ever have these super controversial things until replay was introduced.
Well, I wasn't alive in the 80s, so I can't really answer
It didn't-
that question.
I can't remember any of them. I watched a lot of hockey in the 80s and 90s. I don't remember any of these. Now, someone can prove me wrong, and if you have it, email me, tweet me, whatever. I want to know. But I don't remember any of this controversy until replay was introduced. As soon as we get replay, now we got all kinds of troubles and problems and controversy and this and that. Let the officials do their job.
I'll say this, though. That was probably the worst blown call I've ever seen in my entire life.
I would go as far as saying it's the worst blown call in the history of the game.
History of sports.
Well, the football one in the Super Bowl or in the was it not that they don't have conference finals. The Rams Saints one, the pass interference.
That 1A and 1B.
Yeah. But we never. But you ever think about this? It's the same problem in the National Football League. We got all this instant replay problems, and I still think that's the culprit. I do. I really think it's the culprit.
Well, we'll see because NHL's got to do something.
So one last question on this Eastern Conference Final, and then we'll roll on to some news around the league. But who has the best chance of beating Boston, San Jose or St. Louis?
Well, right now, San Jose is really banged up. I mean, they're really banged up. So I think the edge would go to St. Louis. I think they got the better goaltending. They're getting more timely scoring, and even their defense stepped up. Jay Bouwmeester has been. They were ready to put this guy in waivers, and now he's solid. He's figured out his role.
Jay Bouwmeester has been really good. I have that in my notes to talk about how solid he has been this playoffs.
I think the edge goes to St. Louis right now.
I would agree. And I think the layover is definitely going to hurt Boston, and I think we might be in for a long, hard, good Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, it just depends. Like, I want to see a Finals go Game 7. When's the last time? I think 2011.
Didn't it go 7 last year?
Last year.
Washington, Vegas. Didn't that go 7?
That went 5.
No, it went 6. It was back in Vegas. I can't remember now.
It was in 5. I think the last Game 7 was Vancouver, Boston in 2011.
What?
I thought I saw him.
Ding, ding, ding. That's 6 shows in a row. Blake has brought up the 2011 Vancouver Canucks.
That's a serious, because 2012.
It is. I'm not kidding you. That is
2012 was
for sure that you've brought.
2012 was 5, I think. 2013 was 6. 2014 was 6. No, 20.
Who cares?
Yeah, no. I want to see a Game 7.
Cares?
I want to see
7 games because it's exciting.
Exactly.
Because we've been missing it. It's because it's damn exciting. All right, let's get on to some questions here. I got some talk around the league here. Patrick Waugh supposedly interviews for the Ottawa job. Is this fake news, real? Is he being considered? Why did his name all of a sudden pop up? I don't know. To me, it's kind of
I'm not sure. I think it's a publicity stunt for Ottawa. I mean, I don't
want Patrick Waugh as a coach.
I think Mark Crawford's a great coach. Why not just keep him?
Me too. You know what?
Give him a pair of assistants.
Ottawa's worried about shots on net, and they're worried about becoming more defensive structured. Well, I sure as hell wouldn't hire Patrick Waugh then, because when he was in Colorado, they were the worst defensive team in the league. And it wasn't because they had bad defensemen. It was because his coaching style isn't designed for defense. So I don't know why the hell you'd hire Patrick Waugh. I don't know. I think it's just fishy that all of a sudden this burst upon the news scene, and I'm not sure I understand why it did. So, more thoughts on Patrick Waugh? Are you tired of Patrick Waugh?
I mean, I think I'm not really a fan of Patrick Waugh because of what he did to the Colorado Avalanche. He's bitching on him right before training camp and left him in a really shitty spot. But no, I don't think he'll get the head coach job.
Ralph Kruger hired as head coach in Buffalo, and I know you don't like this move, but I really like this move.
I mean, the more that I think about it,
Do you know?
it makes some sense. Like he did have some success with Team Europe and some success, but like this guy was coaching a soccer team.
He's been working in hockey too.
Like this guy wasn't like just
Do you
coaching.
know? Do you want to know something? I was listening to an Edmonton radio station, and they were talking about Ralph Kruger's time in Edmonton. And do you want to know what Ryan Nugent Hopkins was asked a question, which had nothing to do with Ralph Kruger? The question asked to Ryan Nugent Hopkins, what is the worst thing that has happened in Edmonton during your time here? And he said the worst thing that's happened is the firing of Ralph Kruger.
Well,
I to play for him, and he was an amazing coach.
Yeah, I mean, when your team doesn't make the playoffs, who's that fall on? Most of the time, right?
Should have fallen on the staff above Ralph Kruger.
You're probably right, but I was listening to the Spit and Chicklets podcast, and Ryan Whitney was on that Edmonton Oilers team, and he was talking about like how positive Ralph Kruger is and stuff like that, and that's kind of a coach that
He's a player's coach.
He's a player's coach, but it's the kind of coach that Buffalo kind of needs right now, because it's been tough times in Buffalo. It's no secret, it's gonna be bad if they lose Skinner.
They almost have to get Skinner signed. He is just the driving force on the team, and I think another problem lies in the amount of money they gave Jack Eichel. I'm just not a believer there yet, but time will tell, I guess.
Yep.
Number 1 draft picks, and we are approaching the draft in late June. I think the draft is in Vancouver this year, so hopefully the Canucks fans have something to cheer about. But who do you think is going to go number 1, Hughes or Capo Caco or whatever his name is?
Jack Hughes is going first overall.
You think so, huh? 'Cause I don't.
Yeah, no, I think that – are you really going to base – the draft rankings off a tournament that nobody cares about?
No, I'm not basing it off the World Championships.
Okay, he's got 6 points. Jack Hughes has got 0 points.
I'm not basing it off that. That's not even.
I'm saying Capo Caco has to do that because Finland isn't very good. The U.S. has got a lot of good players on their team.
I just think that he brings a more dynamic.
Hey, listen, I'll just tell you this. I'll just say this. There's a lot of pressure on the New Jersey Devils, but the New York Rangers are licking their chops right now because they're getting either Jack Hughes or Capo Caco, and there's really not a bad decision on either who you get.
And maybe Erik Karlsson and Artemi Panarin.
And like that's what I'm saying. Like you talk about the Rangers rebuild. This is a big summer for the Rangers. They hired Davidson as their president.
I like him too.
I like him. I like that decision. I think that's good for them. They got a good head coach. They got to figure out their goaltending situation and what to do with Henrik Lundqvist. But if they figure it out and add some pieces in offense and add Capo Caco or Jack Hughes, it's going to accelerate the rebuild tremendously.
I don't know. I don't know why my gut just tells me that they're going to go off the board a little bit here and not go with the Hughes pick, but I could be wrong. Let's talk a signing that took place in Dallas for defenseman Esa Lindell, and Lindell inks a deal at $5.8 million. I really like this deal. It is.
Yeah, I like this
6-year deal at 5.8, and I thought the left-handed defenseman was critical to the Dallas success on the blue line this year. I thought he was their best defenseman, to be honest with you.
Better than Heiskanen?
All around, yes.
I don't know about that. He was good. I don't think he was that. I think he was their second best defense.
And no, I mean, that defense looks a lot better all of a sudden when you've got Lindell, Klingberg, Oleksiak, and Heiskanen. pretty good top 4 defense crew.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at some comparables to this contract. You know, it kind of reminds me of a guy you guys just signed in Calgary, Noah Hannafin. He just signed a 6-year deal, $5 million per. Rasmus Ristolainen, 5.4 for 6 years. I got your favorite defenseman, Dougie Hamilton, 5.7 for 6 years.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Matt Dumba, $6 million for 5 years. You know, it's
Better than Dumba.
It's in that range. Who's better than Dumba?
Lindell.
No, he is not.
Yes, he is.
We're not getting in this argument right now because I will destroy you in this argument.
Go for it.
Dude, Matt Dumba, he had 15 goals in 26 games before he got hurt.
What position does he play?
He's defense.
That's my problem.
Okay, he's fine. He's a good two-way guy that's gonna get you 20 goals.
I love how we judge a defenseman on how many points they get when their job is to stop.
No, okay, but he does a good job. I like Matt Dumba.
Let's talk about one last thing, and then we're going to get out of here and head to 3 questions. But today, as I was eating my lunch, I was scrolling Twitter, and I don't know about you, but Twitter's been pissing me off more and more lately.
Whoa.
Maybe it's this controversy.
Whoa. Didn't you tell me? Didn't a wise man like yourself tell me that don't believe everything you see on Twitter?
Oh, I don't. I believe.
Don't let Twitter get to you.
No, but I don't respond to it. I just shake my head and set my phone down. Right, Blake?
We'll see.
Devin Setaguchi,
who is a pregame and postgame guy for the Sharks.
Yeah.
Bad look.
Did you see what he wrote?
Yeah, I saw what he wrote.
He writes, Blues fans or Sharks fan, doesn't matter. Pavelski has had 2 concussions this playoffs. If you have any respect as a human, you know that that play was garbage. You can't even write right. And that play was, he wrote this wrong.
Yeah, I know he did.
Okay. that play was garbage, and Pietrangelo should miss minimum 3 games. He wrote NHL and NHL player safety. You're a joke. Okay, number 1, Devin Setaguchi, you're a washed-up pro.
Yep.
And now you're on the TV crew of a team that has already had terrible history of saying stupid stuff. You rank right up there with Boston for saying dumb stuff on the air.
Yep.
Why would you do this? You have gotten the benefit of 3 horrendous calls.
Mm-hmm.
3 horrendous, epic, rule-changing calls. Those calls were so horseshit that the rules of the game are likely to be changed because of those calls.
Yep, agreed.
And then you got to pipe up on Twitter and call out the player's safety and call out the league for a hit that was marginal at best, a 2-minute elbowing tops.
Yep. Yeah. No, he's not going to get suspended for that.
What a joke. I thought that was the most unprofessional thing.
And the funny thing is, he didn't even delete it.
No, he doesn't
care. Like most guys tweet.
I've tweeted dumb stuff and then deleted it.
Yeah, I have too. It's just like, you
tweeted something and then I'm like, oh, that was dumb. What was I doing? That's why I always give myself the 30-second rule now. If I think of something and I'm going to say it or tweet it, I give myself 30 seconds. If I still think it, then I'd probably tweet it. But
this guy probably gave himself an hour and still tweeted it. Like,
I just don't understand.
I don't know. Like, it's just like,
what good is going to come from that?
What has this guy done to tweet at the NHL safety? Like, what does he accomplish as an individual? Nothing. Garbage.
You got your job because you're an ex-NHLer.
Exactly. That's sad. And that's sad because
happens all the time.
Why do ex-players get jobs before guys who actually have broadcasting degrees?
Happens all the time, man. It's the way the world works, man. It's who you know.
It's not about what you know, it's about who you know, that's for sure.
Let's get out of here. Let's get on to 3 questions. Cool Hockey is the #1 place to get NHL jerseys. Every fan wants a fully customized NHL jersey made to NHL specs.
Check out CoolHockey.com now and use promo code INSIDE20 for 20% off your next jersey purchase. It's time for 3 questions.
It is time for another edition of 3 questions this week. I asked Blake 3 questions next week. He will ask me 3 questions. I have some questions this week that, I don't know, pretty easy ones, Blake. I'm not going to be too rough on you this week. But then we have a great listener question, too, to end the show with. But question number 1, Blake, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Is Justin Williams' career over?
Yes. I think he's going to call it a career. He's already got his Stanley Cups. He's really got nothing more to play for. He had a great career, and I think one last run was good for him to end it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's done, and I think it's actually a good time for him to call it quits. He reported that he was the last person out of the locker room, spent a lot of time with his children in the locker room after the loss of the Boston Bruins, and I think that's a great way to end your career. He was able to share it with the kids and the family that he loves, and hell, he went out on a great note. I had somewhat, I don't want to say written off Justin Williams, but I didn't think of him as a factor anymore, and he sure was a factor down the stretch.
One of the most clutchest players in Game 7.
That is not a word. He's one of the most clutch players. Come on, Blake. Clutchest is not a word.
Most clutch
players in the history of the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Finish that one for you, Blake. You owe me one, bud. All right, we both agree, which sucks when we agree. But let's roll on to question 2. Who is your favorite for the Conn Smythe Trophy? Give me one from each of the 3 teams remaining.
There's only one.
Okay.
Tuukka Rask.
Okay. I would agree. So what happens if San Jose wins?
St. Louis, you mean?
San Jose.
We both agree that St. Louis is going to win tomorrow.
I know. I'm trying to make this question harder.
Who
do you give it to if St. Louis wins?
Schwartz or Binnington.
I give it to Schwartz. Who do you give it to if San Jose wins?
Couture.
Yep, me too. Questions suck today, guys. We're agreeing on everything. All right, we may not agree on this one. This is a good one, Blake. This is a really, really good question, and one that I would love everybody listening to this show to message us via Twitter at Debate Hockey. I want to know what you think to this question. I want to know what all the listeners' answers are. And most importantly, I want to know what yours is, Blake. Question number 3. Would you shake the hand of Brad Marchand after a playoff series?
Yeah, I would. Why not? Win or lose, I mean, that's the beauty about hockey is that you battle, 4 to 7 games against an individual. Doesn't matter what shit he pulls. You still look the guy in the eye and shake his hand and say, good series. No matter if you like him or not, I would shake his hand. Why not? I ain't falling into your petty shit tonight, Brad.
I tell you what, I've talked about the handshake, and I just talked about it last episode about how I think it is one of the coolest things in the National Hockey League does. I think it's better than any other sport. I think it's the most respectful thing that you'll ever see in a professional sporting event.
So you're telling me you're pulling a Marty Brodeur and Sean Avery? That's what you're doing?
I'd skate on by.
Oh, no, you ain't. Oh, you
I'd
ain't.
Skate on by.
Come on.
Nope, I'd skate on by. I feel that strongly. And for me to say that, that's a Blake move. I would skate on by.
Nah, you got to shake his hand. You got to shake everyone's hand.
Nope.
Put your differences aside, man, and shake his hand.
Nope, moving on by.
Petty.
Listener question. Another good one this week. Alyssa Downing from Greenville, North Carolina sent me a private message on Twitter, and her question was, will the Carolina Hurricanes build on their recent success and make the playoffs again next season? Alyssa, I do got your shirt. It will be in the mail this week. Thanks for that. Thanks for the great question, and I can't wait to hear what Blake thinks.
I am gonna say no. I just don't think like you said, it's gonna take twice as much to get back to where they were, and it's not like they won their division this year. They barely snuck in as a wild card. We'll see how much Sebastian Aho gets. He's an RFA. They have let's see here. It says $28 million in cap space. But if you're a free agent, like, are you jumping up and down to go to Carolina? Like, I just don't see what like they ain't getting any top free agents.
Okay, here's my thoughts on it.
It's just like I just think that it's gonna be hard to replicate what magical run they were on this year. They're gonna lose Ferland in free agency, and like they're gonna lose Williams to retirement, and like they had some guys like Lucas Wallmark, Warren Fogle, and Svechnikov step up, and then you got Teravainen, but like Stahl's making $6 million. He ain't living up to that contract. And it's just like I just don't think they're gonna make playoffs next year.
I thought it was very difficult for them this year. I said earlier in the show that it's going to be twice as hard next year, and I think it's going to be downright impossible because you don't even have goalies for next year.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
And you're going to have to buy out Scott Darling for sure because he's probably next to Lucic the worst contract in the National Hockey League.
Yep,
this team's in a lot of trouble. Yeah,
because
I hope they enjoyed their success this year because next year I think it's going to be a tough road ahead for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Because I don't think Mrazek's coming back.
They're in trouble.
Yeah, they are in trouble.
Thanks, Alyssa, for your question. We will get that T-shirt sent out to you here in the next few days. Please, all listeners, follow us on Twitter at Debate Hockey. Follow us on Facebook at our page called The Debate Hockey Podcast. And most importantly, well, I think the Twitter thing's pretty damn important, but we would really, really appreciate it if you would review and rate us on iTunes. Give us a 5-star. It moves us up, gets us more listeners, and we want to keep building this website and this podcast. As we are at 65 podcasts, we love doing it, and we hope that all you listeners enjoy listening. Blake got one question before we get out of here tonight. We're going to talk a little bit off hockey. You've been following Major League Baseball this year.
Off and on. The Blue Jays are pretty trash, so I really haven't watched much baseball. Why? What's up?
You're probably in shock because I'm talking baseball. I am, and always have been a baseball fan. I do think the sport needs a little bit of a jolt of excitement, but I've been watching a lot of Minnesota Twins this year. On Saturday night, I sat with my little girl, and she's probably watching her third baseball game of her life, and it was home run, base hit, home run, base hit, grand slam, out, home run. It was 5 home runs in the first 2 innings. The Twins were up 12-0 after 2. When it ended, they were at 18-4. The Twins have more home runs than they did the entire season in one of the years in the 70s. They have double the amount of home runs that the Cleveland Indians have, which is their second-place rival. This team is ridiculous. They are hitting the ball like crazy, and they are making baseball fun to watch again.
All right, now I'm going to rain down your parade and say that
what can you rain down on? I'm not going to be upset. Like, I'm not a huge Twins fan. I'm actually a Milwaukee Brewers fan.
What's your question?
I'm just saying, like, I love, we talk about this Carolina story, and we talk about fun things in sports. And baseball's I love the sport of baseball, but it can be damn boring, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Games last too long. There's too many delays, but it's exciting to see a team that was really not thought of as a contender this year. A small market team in baseball's consideration. They spend low amounts. They don't have – I've watched quite a few games this year, and I can't hardly name even any of the players.
Mm-hmm.
But they're in first place by 4.5 games, I think, right now, and they are winning a lot of games, and it is high scoring games, and a lot of fun to watch. It's kind of made it exciting to watch.
No, but the Twins got a good offense. You know, they brought in guys like Nelson Cruz and Marvin Gonzalez and Jonathan Scope. They got a good offense, but the biggest downfall, I think, that's gonna come up later in the season is pitching. Outside of Jose Barrios, they really don't have much pitching. But you know what? If you can score a lot of runs, maybe pitching isn't much of a factor. But you know, I like to see teams like the Twins have success. The Indians' time is about done. They're going to start to rebuild, I think, right away. So, I mean, that division's pretty bad. I mean, you got the Tigers who are rebuilding, the Royals who are rebuilding, and then you got the Twins and the Indians battle for a wild card and a division winner. So, I mean, this has turned into a baseball podcast. But
come on, Blake. I asked for an opinion. I didn't want you to give me a rundown of the whole Major League Baseball.
You asked me a question, man.
Evidently, I know you've proven to me that you're a sports fan of all sports. But so since we talked about baseball for 15 minutes to end the show, maybe we should roll into the NBA playoffs and discuss that. What the hell am I talking about? Let's get out of here, Blake.
My boys.
No, we're not talking basketball. I can't do it. I can't do it. We're out of here. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Inside Edge Hockey News. Dropping the gloves. And stirring the pot.
Thanks for listening to the Debate Hockey Podcast. Check out InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com for all your hockey news. Follow us on all forms of social media, and make sure you download the debate on your favorite podcatcher. Check us out on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, and YouTube. A special thanks goes out to our sponsor, CoolHockey.com. Make sure you check out their website, use promo code INSIDE20, and save 20% off your next jersey purchase. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy this week's hockey action.
Saved by Anderson. Couturier, the sweet setup. Gibson robs Tierney. Save of the game.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Baroud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.